Douglas Barker to the platform. I've known Douglas for many years through Harmony Grove, and I'd always invite him as healer when I was speaking there. It's just very compassionate, caring soul. And so, here we go. Oh, that's even worse. That's good news. Metaphysical teacher, light worker, art, history, instructor, and passionate world traveler. 14 years residence in Europe changed his life forever. And major influences: Alan Watts, Rudolf Steiner, trained in his alternative education system and the Waldorf schools. Osho, he became a disciple as a wonderful Tarot. Service, diploma in astrological counseling from a school in Switzerland, initiation as a priest of Wicca, and initiation in the use of the sacred Native American pipe. 4 years residence in Sedona, ayahuasca ceremonies in Peru, and certificates in mediumship and hands-on healing from Harmony Grove Spiritualist Association. And most recently, the Hawaiian shamanism. Douglas is working today with Tarot and mediumship, goddess cards, and shaman stones. He will be offering wonderful readings after our services. And again, Douglas has such an extensive knowledge up here, and he gives it from the heart to share. Very excited about whatever he learns, wherever he goes, whoever he meets. Very sweet, gentle person. Let's welcome warmly, please.
Well, good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Everyone hear me all right?
Yes.
Good, good. Well, the title of my metaphysical sermon today is Having Adventures in Your Inner Magical Garden. And that's based on the text from Genesis chapter 2, verse 8. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden. Now, let me ask you folks, first of all, how many of you already have a kind of a place in your mind where you can go as a kind of a refuge or a place to worship? Lots of different meditation classes will give that as an exercise, and in fact, not just meditation, but lots of different workshops they will teach people how to do that. And it may be a garden, it might be a glade in a forest with a stream running by, it might be a place on a beach. But in any case, this is one of the most potent methods used by shamans, ritual magicians, and seekers for spiritual growth, as well as self-knowledge, and it's a place where you can bring about changes. Now, having an inner magical garden is a way of developing your powers of concentration and visualization. You have a path usually that you use to get in there, and you try to make it as vivid as you possibly can. Having an inner magical garden will also teach you many valuable things about yourself. It's a place for personal growth. It's a place where you can go to get advice from your spiritual guides or spiritual beings, and a place where you can create change and magic. Now, your garden is going to be your own unique creation. And ultimately what it is, it's a reflection of the contents of your own mind, and will grow and change as you do. Now, every aspect of outer experience has its counterpart in thought. Thoughts reflect experience, and experience reflects your thoughts. Changing experiences will also change your thoughts, and conversely, by changing your thoughts, you can change your experience of life. Now, we're going to be creating our own garden if you don't already have one. You might create your own garden from memories of places that you experienced in childhood or places that you have visited. Perhaps you've gone to a garden that you paid to go into that you particularly like. It might be something that you've seen in a picture, or you read a description once and enjoyed that. Or it could be something that you simply create from whole cloth entirely. Now, it's as easy as daydreaming. You just think of a garden, let one appear, modify it as you wish, and make the experience as real as possible. Now, if you're not very visual, remember that you do have several other senses as well as emotional feelings. Use those. Practicing with your garden will, in any case, help you to develop your ability to visualize, which is an all-important ability when you're doing any kind of metaphysical or esoteric training. And if you practice with this, eventually you'll be able to do this exercise anywhere, even with your eyes open. And in fact, some of you are probably already picturing your own garden that way now. So let's get right into the practice. So sit comfortably with your spine erect and take a big deep breath, and as you let it out, let your eyes close. Now I'm going to take us all a bit deeper. First of all, we're going to be visualizing colors and numbers. This is called the Crystal Countdown, and this is an induction method that comes from Laurie Cabot, the official witch of Salem, Massachusetts. So, first of all, I want you to visualize the color red and the number 7. Now, that can be in different ways. You might see a black or white 7 against a red background, or the 7 itself might be red against some other color. Or it might be striped in different colors, but red is what you see there in the number 7. And now take a breath, and as you exhale, you see it start to change. And now you see the color orange and the number 6. Now take another breath, and as you exhale, now the color is turning again to yellow, and you see the number 5. Now, with your next breath out, the color now becomes a beautiful deep green, and you see the number 4. Now, inhale, and as you exhale slowly, the color now changes to a beautiful deep sky blue, like the color of the sky in New Mexico, and you see the color of the number 3. Inhale again, and as you exhale, it now becomes a very, very dark blue, midnight blue, indigo, color of a brand new pair of blue jeans. And you see the number 2. And now finally, take in a deep breath, and as you let it out, the color becomes a beautiful, pure violet color, and you see the number 1. And now, in your mind's eye, right in front of you, you see a spiral staircase that is going down clockwise right in front of you. And it's a short one. So, let's step down. You can feel the step underneath your feet. It might be wood or carpet or whatever. And now the second step down. And each time we take a step down, we go a little bit deeper. So we step down onto step 3, now down to step 4, 5, 6, 7, we're nearing the bottom, 8, 9, and 10. With the 10th step, we step down onto the lowest step. We're now on a floor. And as you look ahead of you, you see that you're now outdoors and there's a cliff in front of you. And you notice that the cliff has a sort of cleft in part of it. And as you walk over closer, you notice that the cleft has an opening. And full of curiosity, you walk into this opening and you find that you're in a crystal cavern that's illuminated inside. And you see stalagmites sticking up from the floor, and stalactites hanging down, and places where they've met and formed a column. You can see a small lake just right off to your left. It's reflecting perfectly all the stalactites in the ceiling above it. And here and there on the walls, you see large, very powerful crystals sticking out. Very, very high energy crystals like moldavite, and azeztulite, and amethyst. All of them adding to the experience. And so you start to walk forward down this passageway, past all of these beautiful formations, and you come up to a solid wall in front of you, but then you turn to the right and you see that there's a passageway with light streaming into it, and it's an exit from the cavern. And so you start to walk over to the exit, and just outside it is your garden. Now, this might have an entrance portal in front of it, it might not. But either way, as you walk out, you come into what is now your own private inner magical garden. Now, you can make this garden as spacious and as beautiful as you want. In fact, the more beautiful you make it, the better, because that way you'll enjoy going back. It's nice to have a waterway of some sort moving through it. And also, take note of some feature that's right near there near the entrance, so that you'll be able to easily find your way back. Now, as you're picturing this garden, we're going to make it a little bit more real to us. So I want you to have a close-up look at something. Perhaps it's a leaf on a tree or a flower. And notice the color and the shape and how perfect it is. Now look beyond that, and you can see where you have flowers planted in clumps or in beds. And you see the waterway, and you can hear the waterway as the water sort of purls and gurgles over stones and so on and flows past you. And you can hear birds in the sky, or perched on trees and singing. You can hear maybe humming of bees or other sounds that you would hear in nature. And now reach out and touch a leaf on a tree. Feel the texture of the leaf between your fingers. Feel the sort of waxiness on the outside. And then reach over and touch maybe the bark on the tree. And notice the roughness. And then lean down and very gently touch the petal of a flower, and notice the difference in the texture and the hardness between that and the bark on the tree. Now, this is an exercise that you can add to every time you do this, and it'll become more and more real to you. Your garden may have unique features where you can carry out different activities, and this is where it makes it really interesting. You might, for example, have a temple of some sort where you can do ceremony and ritual. You might have a special place, a nice little cozy alcove surrounded by trees or some large rocks where you can meet with your spirit guides. You might have another spot with a most comfortable chair that you can imagine, or something to sit on, and this is a place for you to meditate. Now, the garden is an excellent place for you to meditate, or to pray, or do any type of creative visualization that you like to do. It's also a wonderful place where you can do your affirmations. Now, I know that some of you, maybe many of you, have affirmations that you like to do. And so I'm going to give you about 30 seconds now so that you can just say your affirmations in this wonderful spiritual place and know that they're being heard by Spirit. Okay, now, the garden can also simply be a place for relaxation. It can be a refuge for you whenever you're feeling agitated, unsafe, overwhelmed, rushed, rattled, too many things to do. In short, modern life. So that you can go there whenever you need to. Now remember that the garden is a reflection of your own mind. So that when you change or improve anything in your garden, it will also bring about changes in your state of mind, your body, and your emotions. And you don't have to know what condition you have that needs improvement. Your subconscious mind will take care of it. Now, you might like to have helpers in your garden. That's a very good idea because they will add to the psychic energy and make it easier to make changes. And these beings could be human beings. They might be elves, fairies, angels, mythical figures, etc. Now, know that from a shamanic point of view, everything is alive, aware, and responsive, be it human, animal, vegetable, or mineral. You can seek information about your life, you can seek insight or guidance, you can talk to anything and you'll get a response. Now, I want you to ask for a guide to appear. Now, the guide may be one that you already know, or you can simply ask for the best one to deal with your current situation. Now, know that this guide may not be in human form. It may be a totem animal, it may be an ET, it may be light, it can be whatever. Now, if you don't know the guide, ask the guide's name and accept whatever it is. Now also ask if they are of the light, and they have to tell you the truth. Now see the guide as clearly as you can. Hear the guide when it speaks. Reach out and touch it if you can. Make it as real as possible. Now what you want to do is to ask your guide to show you a symbol of a current problem that you have. Now this problem could be mental, emotional, physical, vocational, or spiritual. Now what you'll see is simply a spontaneous image of the problem as it exists in your garden. Now simply accept whatever it is, even if it's ugly. This is simply the way that your subconscious is seeing it and is making it available to you. Now, don't try to interpret it, but now you simply tell your guide that you want to correct this situation. And now, let the image metamorphose. Let it change into whatever it needs to change into. And when it does so, know that change has taken place. Now, if by chance negative creatures appear, demons, ferocious animals, your ex-mother-in-law. Know that they can't hurt you. They are merely images, they are projections of your own fears and doubts. And these can be mastered and changed. Now, what you're going to do is have a conversation with this guide. You can ask the guide about any issue that you have in your life. A couple of guidelines. Don't let the guide give you orders or tell you what you should do. And incidentally, they're not infallible when it comes to predicting the future. Because since you have free will and your present thoughts and actions create your future, you know as much about it as they do. So what I'm going to do now is give you a few minutes that you can have a conversation with your guide and ask about things that are going on in your life. So go ahead. Okay, time to bring the conversation to a close. There might be a few concluding remarks that your guide wants to make. But anyway, now, when you have finished, thank your guide warmly, and then make your way back to the entrance of your garden. Now remember what you looked at when you went in so that you know how to get back. And generate a very strong positive emotion. Bless your garden. Bless any helpers or any guides who have appeared. through the front entrance of your garden and you walk into that short passageway in the cavern. It's only a short distance, and then suddenly on your left, there's the passageway that you came down before. So start walking down that passageway again, past the stalagmites and stalactites, the huge crystals in the wall. And then you come to the entrance of the cave, and then walk out, and now, in front of you, you see the spiral staircase. And this time it's going up, so you'll be walking counterclockwise. So start walking up the 10 steps again. 1, 2, 3. With each number, we're becoming a little more awake. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, without really needing to count anymore, we're just going to go up through the colors. You see yourself enveloped right now in violet light. And as you inhale, the violet turns to a very, very deep midnight blue. Now with the next breath, you see it turning into a beautiful sky blue. And then that turns into a lush grass green. Now the color becomes yellow, very cheery yellow, sunny yellow. And now the color turns to orange and becomes even more vibrant and energetic. And then finally, with the last breath, you see it turn to red. And now, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, let your eyes slowly open and come back into the room. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel your bottoms on the chairs. And now you should be coming back. And I'll make just a few suggestions about gardens. Remember that everything in your garden can talk and communicate with you, so don't hold back. A few things that you might think about doing. You could invite an expert on any subject to the garden, and then ask them what to do. And whatever comes to your mind is the expert's advice. If you have a friend who's having some kind of difficulties, invite the friend into your garden and then try to help them resolve their issue. If you already work with spirit guides, you'll find that your garden is a wonderful place to communicate with them. And they'll be happy to listen to your affirmations. In fact, they might even inspire you to create new ones. And if you like to go on shamanic journeys, go to your garden first of all and use that as the point of departure. Now, one thing that you might really enjoy doing, this is a really fun and deep activity, draw a map or a picture of your garden. You can figure out all kinds of interesting features. When you walk into your garden, see if everything looks healthy. If it doesn't, it means something's wrong. Something's gone on in your thinking that needs to be corrected a bit. You might have beings there that are trimming trees and things like that. I see angels cutting the grass in mine, except they have these enormously long scissors like barber shears that are longer than the angels, and they go like this, like hedge clippers. You might have a special place where unicorns appear. You might have a temple that looks a bit like standing stones in a circle, a cromlech in England, where you can do pagan ritual. There's all sorts of things you can do, and you can make your garden as beautiful as you want. And then when you go back there, you may imagine new features, but try to do a map or a picture of it, and you'll find this is a very absorbing activity and makes it easier for you to focus when you want to go back there. And one last thing, always come back the same way that you went in, because that establishes a habit pattern for the subconscious and makes your future journeys easier. And so with that, my talk has come to a conclusion, and I thank you all for your kind attention.